get ready with me while I tell you about how my boyfriend cheated on me with his cousin. So basically, me and him had been together for 6 months, and then in June, he invited me to go with his family on a beach trip. So his family owned a house on a lake, and every year they go up there. It's like him and his parents and his siblings, and then like all his cousins, his grandparents come, like everyone in his family is there. So obviously I've never seen his family because the only people in his family I've met are like his immediate family, like his parents and like his siblings. So I'm really nervous. And so I get there and immediately I notice that like him and one of his cousins are like really close. Now obviously this is not automatically like a big deal because like people are close with their families. Like I have a lot of cousins I'm close with. But these two were like scarily close. Like they went everywhere together. They did everything together. Like every time they hugged, like they hugged a lot, and every time they hugged it was like really touchy and like long. It was just really weird. But again, could be normal, so I just ignored it. Then I found out that his uncle, who was his father's brother, had gotten remarried recently, and that his cousin wasn't actually related to him. He was just his new aunt's. She was just his new aunt's daughter. So obviously things changed a lot after that because I was like, oh my gosh, they're not actually related and they only actually met like a year ago. So this is like kind of weird. But again, I'm like, they're family, even if they're not like technically related, like they're still family. Like it would be so weird if they had something romantic going on. Plus he's dating me. And one night my boyfriend comes to me and he's like, hey, there's like a bonfire tonight that like all my cousins and I are going to. You're coming with us. And I was like, obviously I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, let's go. So my boyfriend brought his car, and then one of his other cousins brought their car. And so obviously I was like, oh, I'll go in my boyfriend's car. But apparently the cousin I'm worried about, let's call her Stacy. Stacy has already claimed shotgun, and she takes all her little siblings with her, so the entire backseat is full. So I had to go in the other guy's car, who I literally met 3 days ago, and my boyfriend completely just abandons me. So we get to the bonfire, and my boyfriend and Stacy are acting really weird. Like, my boyfriend won't make eye contact with me. Stacy isn't talking to me at all, even though the whole weekend she was really friendly. But neither of them were like talking to me or looking at me, so I was definitely suspicious. So after the bonfire, one of the guys who we had met there said he was throwing an after party for like the older kids. So we all went there. I drove in my boyfriend's car this time, thank God. And we were there, and there were like drinks, there was drugs, alcohol, like there was all the stuff. And so obviously we all start to get a little tipsy, and like my boyfriend and Stacy are like really drunk. And so I was just kind of like, whatever, like they're having fun, they're still family, like there's something gonna happen. And I was like, you're deluding yourself. At one point I'm thinking, I'm like, I haven't seen my boyfriend or Stacy in like 20 minutes. I should probably go find them because it's getting late and like we should probably head back soon. So I asked someone, I'm like, hey, did you see my boyfriend and his cousin? Like, do you know where they went? And he was like, yeah, they went into a bedroom upstairs. So my boyfriend is upstairs in the bedroom with his cousin, who he's not actually related to. So I walk upstairs, I hear noises inside, and I'm like, it sounds like giggling. They're probably just talking. And I open the door, and they're on the bed. His shirt is off, her shirt is off, and they're making out. Obviously, I like scream because my boyfriend is making out with his cousin, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, oh my god, no, it's not what it looks like. Like, it was just a game. Like, we were just playing around. And so like I was obviously like, that's total bullshit. Like, you're literally making out in a private room with your cousin. And he was like, no babe, like I promise, like it's not what it looks like. It was what it looked like. And he's now my ex-boyfriend, and I think he's still hooking up with his cousin, which is wild. But yeah, that's the story about how I got cheated on by my boyfriend and his cousin.
Here's the long-awaited story time about how my dad fell in love with a nanny. Back in 1995, my dad unexpectedly became a working single dad of 5, which meant that he had to get help with the kids. At the time, my mom was living in the East Coast nannying, and so she came over and became a live-in nanny for 3 years. During this time, she absolutely fell in love with the kids. When she moved in, the youngest was 2 and the oldest was 12, and so she really created a strong bond with these children. After about 3 years of nannying, she went back home to the East Coast and was going to possibly get engaged to her then boyfriend. The kids missed her so much and always asked my dad when she was coming back and said that they would pay $1 million for her to be their mom. After some time, my dad and mom realized that they were in love with each other, and she flew out to Utah and they had a talk and realized that they were in love and wanted to get married. Soon after, they told the kids and got married. After a few years, had 3 more kids, and that's where I come in. I seriously love my parents and my siblings so much. My mom adopted the 5 older kids, and so we do not call them our half siblings, step siblings, anything. They are siblings, and we have one big crazy family, and it wouldn't have been the case if my dad didn't fall in love with a nanny. If you guys want more stories, or if you guys want to see my mom and dad, let me know. They're so cute and have the cutest love story ever. It's their own little Sound of Music. They're the best, and I wouldn't be here without them falling in love.
Get ready with me while I debrief my situationship from hell. Basically, me and this guy met when I went out on a Thursday night with my girls, and we just like hit it off until I found out he was like batshit fucking crazy. We started texting a bit from there, and I found out we went to the same school, and then later on I found out we had a class together. And like my classes aren't big. Like my school, like our classes are pretty small. Like I'd say like the biggest class would have like maybe like 60 people in it, so I don't know how I didn't like recognize him till then. So we had went out a few times. We went to dinner, we went to the beach, we did yada yada yada. And I really liked him. I loved getting to know him until I met his friends. So I met his friends like a month into us seeing each other, and it was just at his friend's house for a little get together, and it was both boys and girls. There was this one girl there that I always kind of suspected like he had a thing with. Maybe they flirted in the past, maybe they've done things in the past, I don't know. But I was always just very suspicious of her. When I had gotten there and I met that girl for the first time, she was just like being very weird with me. Like, you know when girls are overly glazing you to the point where it's like, do you want my man? But during this little getty, they were being super touchy with each other, super flirty, and it's like, again, like I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, so I'm just like thinking like, okay, maybe she just has like flirty personality, like. But at some point during this, the guy I was seeing and the girl went into the host's room, and they were just in there for like maybe like 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Like, mind you, I don't know anyone else there, but I'm also a very friendly person, so I got along with like everyone there super fast. And I was just talking to like a bunch of the girls there because the guys that were there were like their boyfriends, and I was just getting along with them, telling them about me and the guy I was seeing and yada yada. But anyways, they come back from the room, and the girl came out like with her eyes all puffy, and it's like I could tell that she was crying, and he just looks like very weird, like his demeanor is completely off. And I asked her, I was like, okay, like what happened? And he's like, oh, the girl's just going through like very personal stuff, like I don't want to tell you and put my friend's like business out there, but like just so you know, like she's just not doing well, like just don't worry about it, blah blah. And I believed him, kind of. I still had my suspicion about her, like I'm not stupid, but I just let it go. And 2 weeks go by, and I meet this girl at a pre-law event for my school. I mean, this girl got super close really off the bat because we were spending the entire event together, and mind you, it was like a 6-hour event. So then me and this girl made plans to hang out another day. Me and this other girl, we just hang out a few days later, and we grab lunch at school after one of my classes, and she's just telling me like I look so familiar, and I'm like, I feel like I have a familiar face, so I honestly do get that a lot. I didn't think much of it. But then a few days later, I'm walking to my class that I have my man in, and my man is walking with me to said class, and I ran into my new little friend with one of her friends, and her friend just starts like tweaking, like literally pointing at us, and I'm just like I don't know what to think. Like I don't know why this random girl that's like friends with my new little friend is like tweaking over this, until I hang out with my friend a few days later, and she's telling me everything. Basically, that girl that was walking with my new friend is friends with the girl that I've been suspecting is in love with my man. And my new friend was telling me that they have a group chat with all of their friends dedicated to me. And you know, I have been through high school in America, so I have had a group chat or two dedicated to me already. It does not feel good. In said group chat, I am the background of the chat, like literally just my face. And they would send photos of the girl that I was suspecting was in love with my man, AI generated photos of her with my man. And it was like wedding photos, and it was like them kissing and them holding hands and dating and having children. I'm like, Okay, perfect. Thank you. I tell my man about this, and he tells me that he always knew. He always knew that she was in love with him. Didn't know about the group chat though, but he still refused to drop her. Mind you, I was seeing this man for maybe 3 months at this point, and we were starting to talk about like actually getting into a relationship with each other. And at this point, I'm just like, the fuck? Like. So after he refused to drop her, I just ended up dropping him because who the fuck do I look like? Like, you're not gonna play in my face. Like, mind you, I still had a class with this man. A few months go by and we're currently in the summer, and I'm just like stalking him because I'm like, okay, like what is he up to, you know? And I see he hard launched the girl that he promised to me was not an issue and that he never wanted anything to do with. And then I'm hanging out with my new little friend, and she tells me how she dropped the girl that was in the group chat making fun of me. And then she tells me everything. And by everything, I mean that she tells me about the story of when I met all of his friends at that little get-together at his friend's house, and when she went into the room with my man, they were doing it. They were doing it in the room for 30 minutes while I was right outside. They were playing chess. I don't know when she found out about that, because the reason that she had dropped that girl is not anything that correlates to me. But she told me that it was like recently she found out, like right as she dropped the girl. So yeah, the entire time he was seeing me, he was hooking up with this girl. I still don't know why her eyes were puffy when she came out of that room. I don't really want to know why. I'm just gonna assume she was also crying because maybe I was there and she fell off about that. I don't know. Also, like, mind you, me and this guy were not doing anything like that, so I'm guessing that he would just come and hang out with me and then go and like crack her. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to how I got played right in my face. Peace.
Okay, so I am sure we all know why we're here. Y'all are sad and so am I. So let's get into it, starting from the tippy top. We left my mom's house about 7:45, 8 o'clock from literally hanging out for my 30th birthday. Steak dinner, salad, potatoes, whole nine. We get home. We notice that the top lock on our door is locked, and we don't ever do the top lock. Let me stop here. The first question I'm going to get is, how did he get in your house? Probably my carport door. I do understand that it is 2026. I understand this sounds so stupid, but I live 20 miles off of the interstate, back in the cut of some bump up curvy back roads on a gravel road. The last thing I'm thinking of when I leave my house is locking my doors. That's why I live out here. That's why I moved from Memphis and DeSoto County to the country. Okay, lesson learned. I digress. Let's keep it moving. I tell my husband, Michael, I just want to take a shower for the last part of my 30th birthday, and I just want to lay in the bed. I did not want to do bath time. I did not want to do nighttime. Love my kid. Wanted to relax. Joke's on me. It was past the baby's bedtime, obviously, so Michael just went into our bathroom to brush his teeth, wash his feet, wash his armpits, you know, all the good stuff, and we were just going to put him in the bed. This is when it starts. I just remember hearing 2 dogs barking. Newsflash, I only have one. I, at this point, was thinking maybe the dog busted through the door, like, you know, maybe it just didn't get pulled all the way shut. The dog busted through the door. We got a random dog in our house, okay? So I was like mid, like, opening refrigerator door to get the milk to pour the baby a bottle, okay? And I go in the bedroom. He tells me that our neighbor is in our master bedroom closet with his pit bull. Mind you, my first night living in this house, said pit bull bit me through the fucking fence and drew blood. Okay, so my first thought is get my baby out there. Then Michael starts telling me, Larry's in the fucking closet with his fucking dog. Get the baby, call 911. Me and Grady go outside. I call 911. Again, I live in the middle of nowhere. Dispatcher, very calm. I know that's our job. Made me repeat my address 4 times. Why can y'all not pull that up on GPS? This is 2026. Okay. Again, I digress. I get the cops on the way. I hang up with them. I call my mom. Need you here. Stat. Bring Sean. Okay. Hang up with her. Get back on the phone with the cops. At this point, I'm on the phone with the cops, and Michael comes outside and he says, Larry said that these people came and pulled up in their driveway, told our other neighbor, I'm going to leave her name out of this because I'm gonna leave it out of this. They pulled up in the driveway, said they had something for her, stole the truck, shot her. She's over there dead. He got scared. He ran to his closest hiding spot. So we've had a problem with Larry in the past. We haven't had this problem with Larry in the past, but Larry does hallucinate, and he does go down to his brother's house and smoke, roll, shoot up, whatever it is that is his choice of pleasure. He does that. So my first thought is, this motherfucker's tweaking. All I can remember is hearing my husband, keep in mind, gun drawn, gun's been drawn, gun has been drawn. Larry, if you open that fucking door, I'm fucking you. Okay, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Thank you. Nobody wants to hear that at all. I heard this multiple times. This is all I've actually heard in my head today. Okay, so again, we live in the middle of nowhere. This is like a 35-40 minute wait for a single officer to show up at my house. Okay, so at this point, I'm outside, I'm in the front, my mom's on her way, I'm on the phone with the police. I end up calling Highway Patrol because the police aren't doing it for me quick enough. Okay, so I call Highway Patrol. I've got both of them on the phone. I need someone here stat. I'm yelling. I understand, like, this is y'all's job, but I need someone very fast. I have a toddler here. I have a crazy person in my house, in my closet, with a pit bull that has already been biting people on my property. Okay, next thing we know, so we're both outside at this point because we can see the closet door. Michael told him, if you open this closet door up before the police get here, you know it's coming. Okay, and I am just, I'm literally out loud. I just remember myself saying, Jesus, 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 please protect my husband. Jesus, please protect my husband. Jesus, 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 Jesus. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. I was looking at the sky, holding my baby. Jesus, please, God, God, please, Jesus. That's all I could say. Literally, I had no words. At this point, I see Michael kind of rounding the corner, from behind where our chickens stay, which is towards the neighbor's house. And he says, something is going on. The truck is still over there. The truck is not stolen. So fast forward, I don't even know how many minutes. Time has kind of just erased at this point in my head. The said truck starts pulling up onto our property, kind of crossing over their driveway into our driveway, and Michael pulls his gun on the truck. He is, he's yelling, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? And our neighbor, she gets out. Keep in mind, she's a lesbian. He is just a squatter. He lives there because she felt bad for him, doesn't pay rent, doesn't have a job, can't pass a drug test, none of that. And, drawn, I'm literally praying to God. And she's like, put the gun down, Michael, it's me. And he's like, I'm not putting the fucking gun down. Not putting the fucking gun down. Police pull up right back over here. Okay? No one is rushing to the scene. Nobody. So I start screaming, I have a toddler over here. Please come help us. I'm screaming, please help me. So then everybody starts walking. Everybody, as in, there was probably about 20 people that just pulled up at the same time. They start walking to my husband as he has his gun still drawn. The way that I felt in that moment, y'all know the way the world is. The way I felt in that moment is indescribable. It's indescribable. So Michael's like, I have a gun, it's loaded, I'm not putting it down until y'all tell me to put it down. And they're like, sir, please put the gun down. He said, it's loaded, he puts it down, hands up. Okay? Okay, so the cops get there, they're getting everyone's stories, they're collecting, what we have to say outside, and they are looking at my house from every angle on how to get in, approach this, and where to even start, with him or with a dog. Come back for part 2. Okay, so the cops get here, my neighbor is still in the closet, in my closet, with his dog, door shut. We can see everything through this window right here. The police are trying to figure out really what the fuck is going on and where is he at, what is going on with him, and who all's in the house, XYZ. So they obviously have a protocol that they have to do, or a procedure, or whatever that looks like in terms for a police force. So SWAT gets called out. So we are just literally standing here with a crazy Larry in my closet. and toddler in hand, he's scared shitless. Keep in mind, my husband was coming in this bathroom. I'm looking at the closet that man pissed in, by the way. He had baby in hand when all this transpired. My kid is terrified of my bathroom. So while y'all are nagging for fucking part 2 and part 3, this is like seriously something like we are having to live through. So please, Jesus, give a girl a break. Not to mention some of you bitches would have to go to therapy for this. Okay, so let me get it out on my own terms. So at this point, my parents pull up, they take Grady, they have figured out what they're gonna do. We have locked the back door. There's only like 2 or 3 exits in my house, and they can see the closet door has not been opened through this window right here. We probably had like 20 to 30 cars and like 40 to 50 people, like assault rifles, guns, literally the whole 9. Ambulance pulled through 3 fucking driveways to get to my house. So like, whatever's gonna happen is about to go down, and they have just basically told me, my husband, and my boo, go stand as far away as we can, because also keep in mind, this man was in our closet, which is where my husband keeps his guns at. So not only is he in there, not only is he not all the way with it, not only does he have a nagging ass pit bull, but he also has my husband's loaded guns in there. Okay, so fast forward, you know, they go in, they're clearing the house, they get him out, and again, like, I do understand the area that I live in. I do understand that I'm from Memphis, but to see this random ass stranger just beat bop out of my fucking house, keep in mind, at one point, me and my son were barricaded in the back hatch of my car, just hunkered down because we did not know what was gonna happen, and my best thought was to, but like, just hunker down and just hold my child. And so the back hatch was up. I look up and I just see him like propped up, like leg propped up on his arm, and he's just telling him whatever he wants to hear. So my husband and my stepdad go up to their little huddle that they're having over there with this man, and they're just trying to listen to see what's going on. He's done told them that the girl 2 doors down gave him some antibiotics, and it's got him a little loose in the head. Funny story for him, another one of my neighbors that heard this and just showed up at this, what we were thinking was like a secluded, I'm not gonna say crime scene because like nothing really happened, but like they let my neighbor like leave and go back to her house and just come up back with like a cigarette, like when nobody held still for no reason. My parents just pulled up and was able to just to walk up, didn't ask who they were you here, what do you need, did it, nothing. So it's just kind of like a bunch of, I want to say unethical practices, because what the fuck, but I'm not going to go into it because the sheriff of like head honcho of this whole situation was very kind to me and my family. I've heard from him today from his personal cell phone, so like I'm not just going to dog it, but like what the fuck was actually going on. So ambulance, they put him in the ambulance, they're trying to see like what the fuck is going on. My neighbor that was heard this over the dispatch, she shows up, you know, in her fucking Toyota Trailblazer, or I don't even think that's a car, but like, you know what I'm saying, like she just beat bops up in the fucking house driveway, and she is like, she did not give you no antibiotics. That's my sister or my uncle's cousin's brother, I don't know who it was, but she said they didn't do that. So I'm missing like a little bit of the details because I don't know if it's like really something y'all want to hear, but I mean, I could do a freaking part 3 of like everything that was said between my other neighbor that we thought was dead, and things like that. But so she's like, she ain't giving you no damn antibiotics, you know, like what the hell are you talking about? And I overhear that he has been to his brother's house, and if you hear for part 1, you know that his brother is the one that supplies him with anything he would like. At one point, he's like sitting on the back of Michael's Dodge Ram, and they're just like kind of hashing all of this out. And basically what it came down to is we have no answers. The sheriff did say that they were charging him with everything that they could, top, bottom, left, and right. He was taken to jail. We obviously like are pressing charges, restraining order, like all of that good stuff. We have already contacted like our lawyer, and you know, just like everything that needs to take place to cover our ass. seeing as this was just so easy to, I feel like it was like swept underneath the rug. Like, this man walked out of my house in no handcuffs, no Russian, nobody was holding his arm. He actually had a cold bottle of water when he walked out, and we don't keep our waters in the fridge, so I don't even know where he found that at or who gave that to him or what. So we ourselves are taking any point of legal action that we can, because like literally what the fuck was that? I am like very, very, very thankful that my husband did not have to pull that trigger. That would have changed, one, his life forever, but our lives too. But that genuinely would have changed my husband's blueprint. Like, that would have changed, as it should for anyone. I don't think that as humans, unless deemed like absolutely necessary, like if he were to charge at my husband or something like that, we're not meant to take the lives of other humans, and that would just wreak so much hurt, processing, and trauma. It would not even be funny, and it could have ended extremely differently. I think the only thing that is kind of like the saving grace in all of this is I did know the man that was in the closet, and it would be completely different. Like, it should have never happened, first of all, but like, if it were like a stranger, like how the fuck did you get to the house? Completely different situation if my neighbor actually was fucking over there, because then like, who the fuck did that, and why the fuck are you seriously still in my closet? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we were home? What if I was home alone? What if Michael was out of town and over the road and it was just me and Grady? Like, this could have been so much worse. And I think the one thing that seriously has me like tweaking in the fucking head about living here still is how long it takes to get help being this far out. Obviously know where like all of our guns are in the house. Obviously with a toddler, like, that'd be stupid if I didn't. But I mean, still, like, I'm thankful for a husband with patience. I'm thankful for a husband with a clear mind. And I'm thankful for a husband that is not fucking trigger happy, because that would have literally changed the trajectory of everyone's life. Hers over there, ours, Larry's family, if they even give a fuck about him. And just things like that. And so for that reason alone, I cannot thank God enough. I'm thankful that all of the police like were safe, whether they got here fast or not. I'm thankful, you know, I'm just very thankful, okay, because it could have been like completely different. I guess I would just use this time to say, it doesn't matter how safe you think you are out in the boonies or whatever. It is 2026, and just people cannot be trusted anymore, and that sucks. It really does. I live out here for a little bit of freedom, and I live out here for a little bit of peace of mind, and I lost all of that. And just to think about the thoughts that are running through my husband's head today has me in shambles as a wife. And to know that my child could not sleep in his bed because he was so scared, he would not let anyone put him down. He did not want to come in the bathroom with me this morning. He had to sleep in our bed last night. That is also something my family is going to have to work through. And it just sucks. The whole situation sucks. I still haven't like wrapped my whole head around it, like just enough to kind of like get it out to you guys, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We're changing locks. We are going to get some cameras. We're going to do like what we need to do, including probably putting our house on the market. But just like, just be prepared for it. Get ready with me to change my locks, because what is a bitch supposed to do? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to make light of the situation, but in all actuality, this is a huge reality, and it's scary. I talked to the sheriff today, and they are going to try their damnedest to let me know when he gets out. So I don't feel like there's a need for a part 3, but if you want to hear anything else, ask your questions and you know I'll answer. It just sucks to feel this way in your own home.
Do you guys want to hear some gossip about my crazy ex? Of course you do. This was the man that I dated in college when I was around 18, 19. So, you know, around that time when you date the most evil man in the world. What are you gonna do? Just FYI, we dated for 3 years, so I'm gonna try to fit everything into this 10 minutes, but I'm gonna do my best. So going right into it, first things first, the man was jealous. We met doing theater. We were doing different plays. We go to this awards ceremony. We're already dating at this point. We go to this awards ceremony. I get an award. He does that whole night pouting, didn't congratulate me, did nothing. It's like, I just feel like all my effort went, unrewarded, whatever. I don't give a fuck. So, you know how men do that thing where like you're having a special night, so they try to ruin it? Yeah. The same thing on one of my birthdays, but that one's not, okay, skip that one. Also, he had like super main character syndrome. Okay, I can bring up the birthday because he had super main character syndrome. So we come up to LA, and I didn't live here at this point. So we come up to LA, and I have this plan. I want to go to like museums, and then I want to go to dinner. That's my plan. And I have like my friends and family with me, and he comes with. And we're like going through the museum, and he just kind of like breaks up from the group and like speeds through. He's like, well, this just isn't really my thing. And I was like, all right, do whatever the fuck you want. And I went with my friend, and we took our sweet ass time walking through, looking at the art because it's my fucking birthday. We're waiting in line for dinner, and again, we're both met doing theater. We're both actors, and he's like, I'm gonna live here one day. Like, I don't care what it takes, what I have to do. Like, I'll even be homeless. Like, I'm gonna live here, and I'm gonna be an actor, and I'm gonna succeed. And I was like, okay, dude. I live here now. He still lives at home. I'm an actor with an agent. Disappeared off the face of the earth. Don't know where he is. Don't know what he's doing. Don't care. Anyway, so main character syndrome. Yes, just that type of thing where he would like ruin or try to ruin or make important moments about himself. You know how they do that? Okay. Super dramatic. He had this very dramatic backstory. It was very hard to tell whether or not it was like real or not. Because at the beginning, of course, I was like, I have no reason not to believe this. But, as time goes on, you're like, So his whole thing was that he used to get into like a lot of fights. And he would like, because of his, trauma, or, he had like a hard time with his ADHD, and he had like issues growing up without a dad. Listen, I'm not knocking any of that. That shit's valid. So his whole thing was like, that he went to the park right behind his house, and he would just get into fights with all these like huge dudes, and that's what he would do every night. And like as time went on, this got more and more embellished. So it started off with like, oh yeah, we used to get into fights, and by the time we broke up, he was talking about how they had hooked him up to a car battery. So now, I'm not quite sure about how the science works on that one, so I don't want to say anything. But we got there. Mind you, we dated 3 years. I'd been to his house many, many times, including at night. Never saw a soul in that park. And he was like, oh, it's because we divided up the territory. Mind you, he's alleging that all of this happened starting when he was like 14. I'm not saying he didn't get into any fight. He was also like, oh yeah, I don't have any scarring because I heal really fast. Okay, so whatever. But then he had this whole thing of like he has PTSD because of all of his horrible fighting experience. And I was like, okay, you should go to therapy, And my dumb ass is like looking up therapists. He's like, I can't do that. So I'm looking up therapists for him, but none of them work. And that one doesn't. It's just therapists don't get me. Like I don't, that stuff that they do. And he would like do these little performances. Because mind you, when he was asleep, asleep. But when he was asleep, he would have these like nightmares, and like twitching, and like he punched a wall, and he'd be like, and I'd be like, wake up, are you okay? At the beginning, I was like, oh, babe. And then after, I was like, get the fuck up. You know what I mean? Because it starts to lose credibility. And as I was getting the ick more and more, I was caring less and less. Sorry. My hair is in my face. Okay. So there was a point where, because we met in community college, and I was going to transfer to a 4-year, and he wasn't done with community yet, so he was going to stay. Mind you, we both lived at home. The community college and my 4-year university were in the same city, and we lived 8 minutes apart. Literally nothing was changing except we weren't going to be at school together every day. And he asked me if I could quit dance and or theater for like a whole semester or maybe a year, just so we could make sure we were okay. Turned into a huge fight. This was like a year and a half in. I should have broken up with him then. I drove to his house with the intention of breaking up, and I should have done it, and I didn't do it. That's the whole thing. We were having like a fight in the street. Yeah, because I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And he was like, I would do it for you. And I was like, I would never ask you to, weirdo. So like shit like that, right? He was freaking out because we were going to different schools, as if we were middle schoolers. And then I go to the university, and he like insists that he's still in school, and he's like, yeah, I never see him with a backpack. I never see him with, I don't see any like study materials or anything. So my mom and I figured out by the end of our relationship that he had been lying about being in school, and that as soon as I left that school and stopped like helping him look up all his little classes and stuff, that he just stopped going to school. And we're pretty sure he was lying to me and his mom about that. So not good. Here's my favorite part: the fake brother. Okay, so part of his backstory, very traumatic backstory. So he didn't live with his dad. This part's real. And so he alleged that he had a half brother. And now his whole thing is the half brother's name was Aiden. And because all of the kids in his family, like of his generation, are named with A names. So he was like, well, I want my kids to have like an A name, and I want to name, if I have a boy, Aiden, after this brother of his. And I don't like that name, but I was like, okay. And at this point he was like, oh my god, we're totally gonna get married and have babies. And I was like, I'm 19, but okay. You know, you live and you learn. So it turns out that this brother allegedly had a different mom. They kind of knew each other, but this kid was really troubled, and he had passed away of alcoholism at the age of 19. No, 15. Sorry, that part's important. So the brother had died, so he's like, oh, like I want to name my kid after my dead brother. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But like, his mom had never mentioned this kid. Anyway, after a while and after a pattern of pathological lying and like picking apart his very dramatic stories, and if you know, you know, like, I hope I don't sound like an asshole who's like bashing on this kid with very traumatic life. This shit was not real. It wasn't real. Anyway, after a while, he can tell I'm starting to lose interest. 3 years in, I have the massive ick, but I don't know how to break up with somebody. I would have broken up with him ages ago, but you know. And all of a sudden, he's like, I just found out Aiden's alive. I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, like it turns out that, you know, he lied to me. His mom lied to me. Like he didn't really die. Like they just had to send him away to rehab. I don't remember what the story was. Either they had to send him away to rehab, or she, you know, didn't want him to have contact. I don't know. But that he faked his death and he was actually alive. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Didn't give him a reaction. And he was like fuming, of course. Now, I have 1 minute. So the way I decided to break up with him, mind you, I had the ick for a while, but I was young and I was dumb. I'm visiting my brother, and we're like playing this game of just asking a bunch of questions. And my mom asked the question, who are your ride or dies? And I'm like, I name like, you know, her, my brother, my best friends, my aunts, my uncles, my godmother. And at the end, they're like, what about your boyfriend? And I was like, ooh, forgot about him. So I did eventually break up with him. And I'm running out of time, but don't marry the man you date at 19, okay?
Hey guys, so story time of how I found my boyfriend of 5 years cheating on me while I do my skincare. Okay, let's start off with, I was dating this guy for 5 years. Like I'm telling you, since like 7th grade, right? We went into COVID together and everything, right? 5 years. One day, my grandpa passes away. So obviously like I'm going through like a depression. So I have like my closest people with me. I have my best friend, I have my boyfriend with me. Anyways, my boyfriend was kind of like long distance at this point because we had just started college and he had started college out of state. So we were doing kind of long distance. So I didn't really like have much time to see him unless it was like a holiday or something that he would fly to me or I would fly to him. So I had my best friend. Mind you, I've known my best friend since kindergarten. Right? When my grandpa passed away, I was going through a really hard time and I had my best friend stay with me for like a whole week at my house. She was comforting me, like we would go get ice cream together, like she was just there for me, you know. And obviously my boyfriend was there for me too, just like on the phone because we weren't able to see each other. And it was like between like exams, so like he couldn't like really like come see me. And anyways, one day he's supposed to come and see me because he, you know, like going through it really bad that one day. So he had booked a plane ticket, supposedly booked a plane ticket. That same day that he booked the plane ticket, he had told me, oh, my flight got canceled, I can't make it. So I was like, whatever, you know, like it's fine, like whatever. My best friend is here, she's sleeping over, like it's fine, right? I didn't think too much about it. Me and my friend are just like doom scrolling on TikTok, on Instagram, like we're just on our phones, right? And she's like, we're laying in bed and she looks at me, she's like, hey, like look at this funny ass video. So I turn to her and I'm watching the funny video, right? Tell me why a notification pops up with my boyfriend's name. I didn't say nothing. I acted like I didn't see it, and I just started laughing at the video. But I acted like I didn't say anything. And as soon as it popped up, she was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. She started laughing and put her phone down, and I just started laughing. But I did not say nothing. My face didn't change. I didn't say anything. I let it go. Like a day later, she had gone back home, and mind you, I have my boyfriend's iPad at my house that he had left from like the last time he had come, right? So I was like, wait, like mind you, I didn't think my best friend would do that to me because I've known her for so many years that I really don't think she would do that to me, knowing that I've also been dating for like 5 years, especially knowing what I'm going through. Like there's no way that they would do that to me, right? Anyways, when she leaves my house, I was like, what does, like, it's not gonna hurt just to like, well, it is gonna hurt just to like go through it, right? Like let's just go through it. So I went through his iPad. Mind you, I know his password of everything, and I go through like messages. I start from the messages, and the most recent message is from Aunt Lisa that had texted him like 10 minutes before I opened the chat. And it was just I tapped on the number and it was my best friend's number. Mind you, I don't know an Aunt Lisa, and I know his whole family. There's no Aunt Lisa. And I started reading all the chats. Why have they been talking for the past 6 months? When I found all of that, I went through the pictures and I went through his hidden, and girl, what I found was disgusting. I found disgusting ass shit on there I wish I never got to see. When I found out, I didn't confront them. I did not confront them at all. The last messages were like, oh, like my flight didn't really get canceled, or like no. It was a couple days before, like the night that he had told me that his plane or like whatever got canceled, it didn't. He was actually flying, but he had gotten a hotel, and the day that she left my house, she went to go see him that same night. And I didn't know anything. I did not know anything. Whole time he was lying to me, oh, I'm too tired, I'm taking like exams, like I can't FaceTime. Am I stupid? I believed it. Whole time, my grandpa is dead. I have my best friend on my side, by my side, comforting me, and my boyfriend long distance comforting me. Whole time, they've been talking or dating for 6 months behind my back. Doing things behind my back too. Every time that he would fly to me, he would go see her too. Let me know for part 2.
Story time on a very bad encounter with my waitress tonight. Okay, so me and my friends go out to dinner and we get seated, and our waitress is already in a bad mood, and she tells us that she has a long day, and I get it. Like, you can have long days, you can have bad days, I get it, but it gets to a point sometimes. Okay, so the food was good, like no complaints. She checks up on us one time, and the second time, she comes back with boxes in her hands that nobody asked for. And I look at her with food still in my mouth. I'm still eating. I'm not done eating. Nobody's done eating. We're still all talking. Like, nobody asked for these boxes, okay? She puts them on the table, and then she continues to ask us if we're paying all together or separate. So we all just, like, look at each other, and, like, we're just, like, all together. I plan on paying the tip, whatever. And my friend was paying with our cards. And she was like, okay, well, let me know when you guys are ready to pay, and I'll do it for you guys. And we all look at each other because there's a tablet on the tables that you pay with by yourself. You don't need your waitress. You don't need anybody to help you. It's all by yourself, okay? And so we all just give each other like weird looks because we're like, what the heck? Like, this has never happened. Our waitress never does this for us. Like, we usually pay by ourselves with the tablet. So my friend rushes to put all her food in the box, and she's just standing there. And my friend picks up the tablet and puts it in front of her and is about to pay. And she was like, oh, like, I was going to do it for you. And so my friend's like, oh, okay, and, like, puts it back where she was. And so she, like, gets it up or whatever, and she pays it. And then she starts to say how 20% tip is recommended, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, you're supposed to first off leave after we pay because you shouldn't expect a tip. Like, obviously we're going to tip, but, like, why are you telling us to basically tip 20%? That is actually so unprofessional. So I look at her and I was like, oh, like, I plan on paying the tip. Can I pay in cash? Because I had the tip in cash. And she, like, did not like that. Like, she did not want the tip in cash. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So She's standing there waiting for me. And I look at my friend, I'm like, how much should I tip or whatever? And my friend tells me like, oh, like you can tip like whatever. And I was so pressured because she was literally eyeing me down, staring me down, expecting a 20% tip, which is $16, okay? And usually I will tip good. I'm not that person. Like, I will tip good. But the fact that our service was not good and this waitress was very unprofessional, like, I really did not want to tip 20% of the bill. So I kind of felt forced to. I kind of felt pressured to because she was just standing there like a hawk, literally waiting for me to get the money out of my wallet. Mind you, I don't know why she's standing there in the first place because you don't need to. I leave the money at the table. That's how it works. You don't sit there and wait for a tip. That is not how it works. I get $60 out of my wallet and I give it to her and she's like, bye, have a good day. Before she said bye, she was like, oh, like I'm just waiting because yesterday I had someone take the cash off my table. And I was like, okay, but like that's not our problem. That's literally not our problem. You don't wait. You don't sit there and wait. So we left and I called my parents because I'm like, that was not good. So they told me to like call and like tell them or whatever, but I think my friend's parents are doing that. I think she only did that because she thought we were dumb little teenagers coming to a restaurant and didn't know what we were doing. Like, baby, I promise you, I know what we were doing and I know what you did was actually so not right. So yeah, expect that call in a few minutes because we know what we were doing.
Okay, I'm gonna put this video in 2 parts so it's not as long, but this happened last November. I was 20 and it was me, my boyfriend, and his friends. We were all at the West 2nd Street bar in downtown Reno. It was very crowded, like shoulder to shoulder, shuffling through people, crowded, okay? And I'm also 5'2", so like with all the people around, I feel like everyone being drunk, it was pretty easy to like lose me, I guess, is what my friends all say. But anyways, my boyfriend goes to get a drink, I'm still talking to people, we end up like losing each other, but we had a plan to go to the Calneva right after West 2nd, so I start walking towards the Calneva. Mind you, he had my phone because my jacket pockets kept like making the phone fall out. So I gave it to him so I wouldn't lose it. So I had no phone, just had to look for him. I'm also blackout drunk and my memory is very patchy of like the whole situation. So bear with me, sorry. Anyways, so I start walking to Calneva. He was there, by the way. I just couldn't get there because a guy walks up, puts his arm around me. I get out of his arms and start walking back towards West 2nd to get away from him. He walks back to me, puts his arm around me, and puts me in his truck. I don't remember how he got me in the truck or like what happened with that. I just know I ended up getting in the truck even though I did not want to be there. He ends up parking by the J Resort, and that's when I end up going from the front seat to the back seat. So he parked, gets in the back seat, we start like fighting in the back seat. I'm like messing with his mind by just scaring him, saying like, you don't know who my family is, like you're about to be like you're not getting away with this, like your life is about to be ruined. And I kind of just like, yeah, messed with his mind, and I think it worked because he didn't put the child lock on his car. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. Okay, part 2. Also, he was staying at the J Resort, so I feel like there was some type of trafficking situation going on. I think that's what he was gonna do because he was driving a brand new truck. And it was just like the whole situation. He had a $250K cash bail. He got that. He was able to pay that. Whatever. Besides the point. I'm laying in the back seat. I like get up and open the door as he's driving and just jump out onto the sidewalk, and I kind of just like fall out, I guess. Anyways, we're in this neighborhood, I'm on the sidewalk, he parks and we start fighting as the zip ties are on me still. I don't remember how we were fighting, whatever, but he ends up somehow behind me. I think I was like laying on the ground, I don't know. I was laying on the ground and he was on top of me, or we were standing and he was behind me. I think we were standing. This doesn't matter. Anyways, this guy walks up to us and he's just like, what's going on? And I mouthed help me to him because I didn't want the guy kidnapping me to know that I was asking for help. So the guy who walked up was just like, I'm gonna wait for her till her friends get here, because the guy who kidnapped me said like, oh, she's fine, her friends are coming. And he was like, well, I'm gonna wait till they get here. And then that's when he left, the kidnapper guy left, drove away, and me and the guy who helped me, we both ran to the hospital together. And yeah, I'm super thankful for Scott. I hope he's able to see this video, but yeah, I don't know what would have happened. It was very scary, and I'm still having the memory slowly come back to me. I hope you guys enjoy the story time. Just be aware of your surroundings, and yeah, I don't know. To the girls who had similar situations, again, just I'm very, very sorry, and I'm sending my love out to you guys, and I hope that my video was able to like help you guys feel better about getting justice for your situation. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support.
Hi guys, I wanted to tell y'all about the time I got kidnapped when I was like a junior in high school. So basically, the story starts out, I'm like 17, I was a bad kid, and my mom wanted to stop spanking me, so she was like, I'm gonna try a new punishment, and her punishment was that I was not allowed to drive to school and I had to take the bus. And that would be like a humiliation for me, and yeah, it honestly was. And so I got my car taken away, and I wake up in the morning, and I'd never taken the bus. I'd always like just driven to school. And so I go to the bus stop where I'd usually seen kids at, like when I had driven past them. And I'm waiting there, and I'm waiting there for like 20 minutes. And there are some other kids at the bus stop, but I'm like not really looking at them because I'm genuinely embarrassed, so I'm just keeping my head down. And but it's taking really long, and I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna be late to school, but whatever. So the bus comes, and I'm getting on the bus, and at my school district we had to use badges to because I lived in Houston, and so it was like big city, so we had to use badges to get on the bus. And so I scan my badge, it's not working, and I keep scanning it. The bus driver's like, just go sit down, like this is getting annoying. And I was like, okay. So I sit down in the first seat, I'm not walking past everybody, and I sit down next to this girl, and she looks kind of young, and I didn't think much of it, just because I was like, you know, freshmen these days, you know, they've been touching receipts and stuff, testosterone, estrogen has been low, and so maybe that's why they just look littler. And so I turned to her, and I was like, hey, can I see your badge? And she was so rude to me. She just like looked at me, rolled her eyes, and looked back out the window, and I was like, damn, you're rude. So I was just like, fine, I'm not talking to you anymore. And I get on my phone. And we're driving to school. I've been looking at my phone this whole time. And I look up, and we're not taking the route that we usually take. Like, that I usually take to get to school. And I'm like, there can't be that many other routes to get to school. And so, so I'm like looking out the window, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. And by the time we get to school, I look out the window, and I realize we've ended up at a middle school, and we're at my local middle school, and I look around at the kids on the bus, and I realize the reason they look so small is because I am on a bus with a bunch of 11-year-olds as a 17-year-old. And so I get up to go talk to the bus driver, and she's like, sit down, no standing, but the bus isn't even moving. And I was trying to explain to her that I don't belong on this bus. She didn't care, and so I guess middle school procedure there, the teachers are coming, they make us line up as we get off the bus, and we're waiting in line, and I'm like 5'2", so I'm low-key the same height as half these kids, and I'm just like, I don't belong here, I need help. And none of the teachers listened to me, so I went into the middle school, and when we went in there, I went to the front, the receptionist, and I was like, I need help, I don't belong at this middle school, I'm 17 years old. I'm in high school. And the receptionist was like, yeah, okay, that's weird. You shouldn't be here. So I called my mom. She was pissed because she was like, you did this on purpose. so that you didn't have to ride the bus. I was like, Mom, I did ride the bus. I'm at the middle school. And she came and picked me up. And this was when I was in my spray tan era. And I walk outside and it's raining and I get rained on. My spray tan's ruined. It was just a terrible day. And lesson learned, middle schoolers are mean. And I clickbaited you guys because I technically didn't get kidnapped. But it felt like I did.
Hey guys, welcome back to another installment of Megan finding out more crazy information about her ex-fiance. Yes, I know, it's just never ending. It's never freaking ending. And you know what? I think whenever I find out new information, I feel like a detective, and it honestly, like, it kind of excites me because I'm like, what is this freak of a human being doing? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, today, I wasn't purposely trying to do anything. I was updating my LinkedIn profile. I'm starting my master's program soon, so I was updating my profile. When I see a post from my ex from a day ago, the timing is crazy, that he got a new job. And I'm sitting there debating, like, ooh, do I press on his profile? Yeah, press. I don't damn care if he sees that I stalked it. I don't care. Because he had a new profile picture and I had to see it. Anyway, so then I'm looking at his profile. We got a couple comments to make here. First, I've made this comment many of times that he does this on his dating apps, but now finding out that he does it on his LinkedIn and probably on all of his resumes and all these workplaces that he keeps getting all these management positions in, it's just crazy. This man has an associate's in criminal justice. I mean, I watched him complete the program. We literally flew to this, like, the state that he went to this college online program to go to his graduation. However, last minute he decided not to walk the stage, even though he literally had his gown on. We took photos. And also, in the apartment we lived together that he just moved out of, he had hanging in front of his computer his degree, associates. But this man's trying to say that suddenly his associate's degree in criminal justice is now a bachelor's of applied science and business administration. Huh? We've only been not together for like a year. There's no way a man's got now a bachelor's in a degree that he didn't even have an associate's in. So, you know what I'm saying. And then I stumble down a little bit further. He's living in a different state. So the job that he just got is remote. So that's why I was like, kind of like having to stalk some things out. Cause I was like, where is he working? Yeah, so he's living in a different state. However, I've had a couple sources of mine spot him recently, like really recently. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine just saw him like 2 blocks down from where I live and flipped him off. And then my other ex-boyfriend I just broke up with not too long ago also recently spotted him with a girl and a family. And I was like, oh my God, you already got a girl already? Like, that man's been on Tinder multiple times throughout the last like year or so. But especially I just saw him a month ago on Tinder. Okay. So I'm like, wow, he's already got a girl, when I found out that my ex saw my other ex, you know. No, this is where things get crazy. So I'm looking at his LinkedIn. I'm looking at that post he made about his new job. And I'm looking at the reactions. And I see this girl reacted. And I recognize her picture. About a year ago, when I found out that he killed me off, and I made my whole little Storytime series introducing you guys about my crazy ex-fiance. Yeah, one of his friends, his old friends, are not friends anymore, I don't think, had messaged me, sent me a picture of a girl saying, is this the girl he cheated on you with? And I was like, oh no. The girl she sent me a picture of was a girl that he was currently seeing. And this was back around like July time. So like a year ago. And that's the girl who just reacted to his post that he posted a day ago. So I see her name, and her name looks familiar. I search her up. His brother's girlfriend follows her on Instagram. I'm like, okay, verify that they all know each other, like, you know. So the name of this girl is the name that the girl, okay, this is gonna be so confusing. The girl my ex cheated on me with dated my ex for like a month after me and him split, okay? He then cheated on her with a girl, and the girl that he cheated on me with told me the girl's name, and it happened to be the girl that he's been with the last year. However, I also found out from his old friend that this girl that he was seeing was not from our area. She was going to school here, and she's originally from a state And this happens to be the state that now my ex is now living in. So this is like, it's all adding up. It's like, whoa. So he's been with this girl this entire year. He just moved to the state that she's from. He was just like, my other ex just saw him at a restaurant with this girl and parents. So then I'm sending the pictures of this girl's like Instagram or whatever to my friends that told me about my ex seeing him. And they're like, oh my God, yes, that's the girl. Apparently my one ex took a picture of my ex-fiance and the girl in the family at whatever, and I didn't see it till today. And yep, there she is. So they've been dating for a year. However, he's been on Tinder this entire time. I just saw him a month ago. May 31st, I have a screenshot of his verified Tinder account. So this girl's smart, okay? She's coming to school here for like a graduate degree school, okay? Like doctor. She's smart. And she looks very nice. I have nothing against the girl, obviously. Like, she didn't do anything to me. But I'm sitting here like, wow, he's cheating on her and he just moved to her area, question mark, or moving. It's like never ending. This man's gonna be in this cycle doing this to everyone for so long, and he goes after people like similar like fields of me, I feel like he goes after people like that have empathy in the fields of work they do. And it's really just crazy. And this man could be in a Netflix documentary. Like, I was telling my coworkers about it today, like what the information I just found out, like the pictures, him lying about his degrees, him moving, and they're like, this man and his like constant like cheating on people is insane. Your stories are insane. Like, every time I tell something, like, you know, I have a newer coworker, and so I was telling my other coworker about it, and she was standing there, and my coworker's like, wait till you hear Megan's story, like, it is crazy. And then I brought up the part about, like, me being dead and, like, him killing off his mother, saying she killed herself to, like, get the girl he cheated on me with. So it's just, like, it is never ending. Like, what else am I gonna find out? Like, what? He's cheating on this girl that he's been with a year since me. And he just moved to their state. I'm like, if I was crazy enough, which I'm not, I'm crazy enough to post all this because, like, I don't care. If I was crazy, I would message that girl and like warn her, because either she's crazy like him and they were matched made in heaven, or she needs to run from that psychopath. You know what I'm saying? The other crazy thing I could do is tell all of his employers that he's a fraud and he doesn't have a bachelor's degree. And I mean, he puts on his damn Bumble that he has a graduate degree. Does he know a graduate degree is like a master's up? I don't think so. He's got an associate's and not in the same field that he's trying to say his bachelor's in. So it's just like really crazy to me. It's really crazy. He's crazy. That's really all I have to say. It's like every time I find out new information, I'm just sitting there like, thank God. And do you guys know the cruise I just went on, what it was? It was my wedding cruise. Yeah. We were supposed to get married on this boat this month, this year. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little story time on why I'm currently jobless, because it's bad. Ignore this, okay? I'm breaking out really, really bad. I'm gonna speak on it, but not like all of it, not too much into detail, because I don't want to get in more trouble. Even though I'm off the clock, I'm not in uniform, I don't say names. So let me just put that out there to those of the managers who watch this. I'm not saying names. I'm not in my uniform. I'm not on the clock. I'm not at Kroger. So, and my mom said I can do it if I'm not on the clock in my uniform or anything, like freedom of speech. So, but I'm still gonna like keep it on the low, not everything that happened quite yet. Like, I'm not gonna tell that yet because I'm not trying to get in more trouble than I already am. Even though I'm sure I can, I'm just in case, because of Kroger's social media rules that I didn't know existed. Which, like, obviously, I'm sure I should have known any workplace is gonna have social media rules. It literally, like, that just never crossed my mind, and I genuinely did not know Kroger had, like, social media rules. And when I got told that, I didn't even say that I didn't know, because I thought they would think I was lying, because they probably would think I was lying, but I did not know. So I just kept my mouth shut, acted like I knew they existed, but I really didn't. Just don't worry, I'm gonna mention that I didn't know whenever I have a meeting with district HR and a union representative.
Basically, I got in trouble for those TikToks that I made that like blew up, like 3 of them. If you didn't see them, it was basically me bashing Kroger and bashing my managers. Well, the third one, I wasn't really bashing anybody. I was kind of just talking about how like I switched departments that day and stuff, and how like excited I was to finally get out of my department because it was like draining the life out of me. The other 2, yeah, I was like, so I really don't know why I got in trouble for that third one, but I did. But I wasn't saying anything bad, or at least I don't think I was. But the other 2, I was. Before I get too much into the story, I will say I got in trouble for TikToks once, and it was probably like October, November. Yes, this one I did. I'm not surprised I got in trouble for. I was on the clock, in uniform, everything. Me and my friends were doing TikTok dances in the chip aisle. But it wasn't anything like bashing Kroger or anything. But yeah, I got in trouble for those, and one of the co-managers even came up to me and was like, stop with the TikToks. And I was just like, yes, ma'am. Like, okay, and I didn't do it again. I genuinely didn't know at the time, now that I look back, that I was in my uniform and stuff. Like, yeah, I like fucked up. Like, I was in my uniform and I was bashing Kroger, yeah. But at the time, I clearly was not thinking, and I thought I couldn't get in trouble for it because I wasn't in the building. I thought since I was in my car, like, there was nothing they could do about it. Those videos are not up right now. They're privated, so they're currently not there. So basically, I go into work Thursday. This was last Thursday. I go into work literally the second I walk through my department doors. My department manager gets a call from a co-manager saying Layla needs to come up to the manager's office. So I went up there, and at first, getting in trouble for the TikToks literally didn't even cross my mind, because not the day before, because that was my day off, but the day before I was talking is when I like told my manager I want to switch departments. So I thought that's what it was about, but then I realized the store manager isn't here today. So that's when I realized, fuck, it might be good. So I get up there, and there's 2 co-managers and a manager that manages up front, which I thought was weird because I don't even work up front, but apparently he's one of the people who snitched. Which I can't get in trouble for saying that, because I know you might be watching this, but I'm not saying your name. I'm not at Kroger. I don't even say what Kroger I work at, so there's nothing you can do. And apparently he likes to watch girls' TikToks a lot that work there. Also, I didn't expect those videos to blow up the way they did, but they did, so I'm not surprised a ton of people found them. But when I say everybody at my Kroger knows, everybody knows, and other Krogers in the area, because they snitched too. Anyways, I get in there, and one of the co-managers was like, so you made TikToks on this day, this day, this day, and I was like, fuck. And she said I was getting written up and to sign the paper, so I signed the paper because, like, I had to for that situation. And then, okay, I guess the front-end manager that was in there with me, I guess he, like, I don't remember exactly what the co-manager said because my mind was kind of, like, everywhere. But he, like, has something to do, like, I don't know, he was gonna help me, like, reach out to the union and stuff. Like, he even had, like, the business card and everything. And my co-manager was like, if you have any questions, you could stay in the room with him and ask. And I was like, or if you have any comments or anything, you can write it in the box. And I said, I don't think I could fit everything I want to say in that box, so who can I talk to? She's like, well, you could talk to him about reaching to the union. That's not what I want to talk about. But okay, I'll mention it when I have the meeting with district HR and the union representative on how the managers treat their employees and me. But I still said I'd like to, like, have a word with him, and he gave me the business card and stuff. What the hell? Not knowing at the time that he was one of the people who snitched. So yeah, after I was done talking to him, both the co-managers came back in, and they told me I was suspended, and they said to go home. I thought it was just, like, for the day. I didn't really know. I wasn't given much information at all. I was told I was suspended. I was told to go home. I thought it was for that day, maybe the next, and then I was coming back. No, they refused to tell me anything. Like, I literally got no information out of any of them. And they wanted to act all snobby the whole time, but, like, you could at least tell me, like, where this is going, like, what to do other than call the union. Why am I calling the union? But I left, and I clocked out. I went home, and I guess my department manager had no clue about any of this. So she got called up to the office after, whenever I, like, clocked out, went home. And I get home, and one of my friends texted me. She was like, like, my department manager, I'm not gonna say her name, is sad you got fired. And I was like, well, that's news to me, because last I checked, I did not get fired. Pretty sure you could have told me on the spot if I was actually fired. Like, And then I get a text from my department manager saying, I'm so sorry, Layla, I didn't know. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm so confused because I got told I was only suspended, not fired. And she was like, I don't know, you're gonna have to talk to the union, like, blah, blah. Like, it's like, this can't be real life. Like, the manager sucked at giving me this information. Then I was confused as hell if I was fired or not. So then I'm getting texts from, like, previous managers saying to like, they already found out. And I was just like, what the fuck? So I find a way to contact, like, my union representative or whatever. And he called me and we were on the phone. He was, like, super chill. Like, I apologized, everything. And that's when he said, like, if you want to keep your job, because I want to, because I'm going to the pharmacy. Like, I kind of need this job. Like, I don't have all the time in the world. And I know he said it's not going to be a short process, but, like, I still haven't heard anything. And that phone call was a week ago. Like, I don't know what to do because I need money. Like, I have stuff I need to pay for. Like, and your girl's gonna go broke if she keeps on not getting paychecks. Like, tomorrow I'll get one, but I only worked, like, a day, so it's gonna be very small. But yeah, he told me on the phone, like, oh, I'll set up a meeting with district HR, me and you. And he was like, it's not gonna be a short process, but we'll get it. And I was like, okay, thank you. That's the only way I have a chance of getting my job. I still don't know if I'm gonna get it back. And if I don't, I literally don't know what I'm gonna do. But I figured by now I'd at least hear something of maybe when the meeting could be, or like, but no, it's literally been, tomorrow will be a week and I haven't heard anything. I might reach out tomorrow. I literally, like, don't know. I would like to work at least, like, one day next week, because the week after that, next Saturday, I leave for vacation. Like, I need some sort of income coming into my bank, even if it's just a little bit. But the next day, I came into the store and I also had a meeting with my store manager to, like, apologize for everything, kind of, like, get him on my side, which, like, and I feel like if he really wanted me gone and fired at that moment, he probably would have fired me at the moment, but he was talking to me, like, we had a really calm conversation. I was terrified to go in there. I literally sat in my car for, like, almost 30 minutes debating on even going in there. Well, not really that, but just, like, trying to calm myself down. I literally damn near had an anxiety attack. But we had a super calm conversation. He was, like, helping me what to say in the meeting with, like, the union and the district HR. So yeah, I'm not really bashing anyone on here right now. There's no one to really bash except for the people who snitched on me when it didn't really affect them in any way. He said he got about 7 messages of the video. He got sent the video by 7 different people that he doesn't even really talk to anymore. I only know of 2 people who snitched, but apparently there were so many, probably more than 7, because I know the district HR got it sent to her too, which is the part where I might be fucked. Because I know the HR at a whole other different store sent it to district HR. Why do you care? I don't even work at your store. And then the other guy that, like, works up front. What I don't understand is the HR at the whole other different store. Literally, why do you care? I don't work at your store. But yeah, that's my life right now and I'm actually going insane.
Okay, I'm sitting here waiting on my workout class and I just remembered this thing that happened to me like a month ago that I just, like, have to talk about because it was so ridiculous. I was at lunch with my boyfriend's mom and grandma, whatever, having, like, a pleasant lunch, okay, whatever. I have to go to the bathroom, so I get up, I go to the bathroom, or I go towards the bathroom, and it wasn't stalls or, like, whatever, it was just, like, 2 unisex doors, and so I'm sitting there waiting because they're both in red big font, occupied. And if you also pull on the handle, it's locked. So I'm sitting there just waiting. And I'm waiting. It's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, did the restaurant lock these bathrooms? Like, what is going on? I was waiting for so long. And then some guy, like some other patron, walks up. Okay. And if I wasn't already standing there, like, waiting, and there also wasn't a big red occupied on both doors, he walks up and pulls the handle. Okay, well, you're not gonna have any better luck, but whatever. And then he's standing there and we're waiting. Eventually, finally, one man walks out of one of the bathrooms. Well, kind of. He walks out, pivots 180, walks back in the bathroom, closes it, locks the door. Oh, I'm not hungry anymore. Oh, I'm not hungry. No, thank you. I'm not hungry. You can have the bathroom. You can honestly pick up the bathroom and take it with you home. I don't want it anymore. I don't know what you got going on in that DM in there. I don't want it. You can have it. So then the guy next to me, and it, like, we exchanged like a, you know, just, you know, and eventually we were waiting for so long that I just turned to the guy and I'm like, you got it. I'm not waiting anymore. And I walk away. That was it. That was the extent of our exchange. I walk away. Okay. Then me, my boyfriend's mom and grandma, we finished up our lunch, whatever. We're getting ready to leave. And now by the exit door is the same guy that was just waiting by the bathroom next to me. So in this exact cadence and tone, I say to him, is the bathroom still closed? That's literally like, based off of what I'm about to say next, you would think that I was sitting there being like, is the bathroom still closed? And do you want to go in there together? Like, you would think that that's what I was doing. Okay. I said, is the bathroom still closed? He was being very nice, and there was a girl next to him, or a woman was next to him, and he was like, oh no, like she just came out of there, like it's open. Okay. Not even 2 seconds later, the woman next to him, and I'm saying woman because like some people call me girl still because I'm almost 23. This was like a full grown, like my mother, like this was like a full grown woman. And she looks at me and she goes, what are you asking him? He doesn't work here. Shorty, I know you're lying right now. I know you're lying. What? And then I could tell was like scared. And he was like, oh, no. Like, it's okay. Said her name or whatever. I was like, no, it's okay. Like, she was waiting by the bathroom with me. Like, it's fine. Like, that's it. The woman next to him, then proceeded to be like, in the middle of this restaurant, I don't know why the females come up to you and talk to you first and not me, thinking it's okay to talk to you and not me, whatever. I'm like, girl, maybe because your king was just at the bathroom stall and you weren't. Like, why would I ask you if the bathroom is open? I've never seen you. I don't know who you are. And I didn't understand, like, what she was doing at first, so I looked at her and I was like, I looked at her with this stupid look on my face, and I was like, because I thought she was like playing. Like, when I realized she was like low-key trying to get her ones in with me, I just like I was like, I just turned around and left. Because girl, this is not the time or place. Hattie B's in the middle of downtown Nashville on like a Tuesday afternoon is like not the time or place. Like, just get out my DMs, please. Like, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, no one wants your man. I mean, I'm sure some people do, and that's fine, but I don't. Weird. I just had to get that out because it was just like annoying. But yeah.
Hi guys. So I'm not one to normally get on here and post stuff, especially nothing like this that I'm about to say. But I feel like it's really important, and I feel like I have the knowledge that I wish I had been told about when I needed it, and nobody really got on here and talked about it. So this is about girl stuff, so if you don't want to hear about it, then you can just scroll on. But when I was like 13, I first tried to use a tampon. Didn't work, it wouldn't go in, so I was like, okay. I just thought that maybe I was putting it in wrong, or, you know, and it hurt really bad. So my mom, like, finally realized, something's not right. So I go to the gynecologist. This is 2 years ago. I went to the gynecologist, and she was like, oh, you have vaginismus. So I go to physical therapy to try and help this, and I'll go for a few months and nothing works. Nothing helps. I get nowhere, no progress or anything. So then we just stopped going. So fast forward to, I guess that was probably May. I told my mom, like, I really want to be able to swim and stuff, and it's just kind of getting annoying. And so she was like, okay. So she scheduled me another appointment with a different gynecologist. I go, and he's like, so you do not have vaginismus, which is what the first one had diagnosed me with. He said you have what's called an imperforate hymen. So basically what that means, it all starts while you're in the womb, and it's when like your hymen doesn't fully connect into that thin layer. You just have a wall. It's thick. You have a thick hymen. So it's a wall that's blocking anything from going in. Like, yeah. So he's like, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna go and you're going to have a surgery to have this removed, and then you're gonna be okay. So what the surgery is called is a hymenectomy, which is total removal of your hymen. Like, yeah. So I had my surgery yesterday. I got home yesterday around like 11 or so, and I was sore. Like, I was hurting pretty bad. But today, woke up, I haven't been hurting. I had 3 stitches put in. I can feel them. It's just uncomfortable. It doesn't really hurt. I haven't really hurt that bad today, so that's good. But it's just been a little uncomfortable because I can like feel my stitches like inside of me. So I have a follow-up appointment in about 2 weeks, where he's gonna like talk about like what else I need to do. I just feel like more people, this needs to be talked about, so people are more aware, because it is really rare to have this. It's like 1 in 1,000, I think is what he said. And so it's really rare to have, but there's a lot of people that I know that probably have had this and they just didn't realize, because I didn't even know what it was before I went to the last gynecologist. But if you are having any kind of trouble using tampons or doing anything else, and it hurts and it feels like there's a wall, you need to go to the gynecologist, because it's very important that you do, so you can figure out what's wrong, so you can go ahead and, if you need to get the surgery, to get it over with. So I just thought that I wanted to put that out there and like give the information that I have available. If anybody has any questions or anything that they want to know, you can just let me know. I mean, I'll answer what I can. I think I know a good majority of answers now that I've done this. But yeah, that's it. Bye, guys.
Story time on how my baby daddy cheated on me with his sister. Anyway, so start off, they are half siblings. They have the same dad, but I don't give a, it's still nasty. Anyways, let me give you guys a little rundown. So me and this person, this happened back in 2019. So me and this person started dating in 2019. Everything was great. The relationship was good. The only thing I will say is he was very inconsistent as far as like keeping up with dates and stuff. He would always cancel on me. Hey, I have to do this, I have to go work, I have to, and I'm a very understanding person, so I'm like, yeah, like, go work, go do what you gotta do, like, you know, no problem, we can reschedule, blah blah blah. That was my mistake. So we're dating as far as, so okay, we started dating in January, so like by March, April, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes. Obviously I was happy. After a couple of months, I met his mom, grandma, all of them. So this family was very off. Like, this wasn't the first person in their family to do this. Like, it's almost like this is something they liked. This is something that they did because his own dad did this. Anyways, I meet his family. Everybody was nice, whatever. One day, I guess he was feeling guilty and he pulled me to the side and he was like, hey, are you cheating on me? I'm like, no, like, I'm not the type of person to cheat. If I feel like, you know, the connection is not there, I'm just gonna leave. You know, there's no reason to cheat. There's no reason for me to, you know, put someone through something like that. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm, you know, I'm good with you. Why? He's like, oh, I'm just wondering because I feel like you are. Honestly, I didn't. I should have. Anyways, I'm like, that was weird. So like maybe 2 days later, he calls me and he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I just knew, like, shit, something happened here. I'm like, okay, what's up? He's like, but in person, come to our spot. So we had this spot where we would always, you know, go look at a view. So I pull up to the spot, and the crazy thing is that day I had went to Target. I had went shopping to buy him, like, you know, some things, some pillows, some sheets, like just, you know, things that I wanted to buy him. I get there and he's like crying already, and I'm like, what the fuck? What, you know, what happened? I keep forgetting that I have to watch my language. Anyways, so I get there and I'm like, what's going on? And he's just like, I messed up. And I'm like, okay, well, what happened? And it's the way he put it to me. Like, he made it seem like it was something completely different. Little did he know I was gonna find out. Anyways, he's like, I'm really sorry, but I had an affair with a married woman. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, like, I, you know, did stuff with a married woman and now she's pregnant. Mind you, this is before I was pregnant. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, why? How? What? Like, do you want to be with her? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, I don't want to be with her. It was just a one-night stand. You know, and now she's pregnant, and obviously I have to man up to the baby, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, yeah, you sure do, you know. I don't know what to say. I'm like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to say. He's like, I'm really sorry. You don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're right, I don't. But I was really in love with this guy at this point. So I was just like, what do I do? So I asked him, like, do you want to be with this girl? Like, what's your plan? He's like, well, no, like, I'm just gonna take care of my kid, and, you know, I want to be with you if you're willing to forgive me. I'm like, I don't know, I have to really think about it. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I don't know what in me asked him if I could see a picture of her. I'm like, hey, like, can you show me a picture of her? Like, I just want to see this girl. He's like, yeah. Well, his dumb ass shows me her Instagram. And you know, I memorized that name quick. So I remembered her name. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. He's dumb. Anyways. So after that, I'm like, we'll talk soon. I don't know what to tell you. So I leave. I hang out with my friend. I'm like, you know, I started searching this girl up, but she had her account private. So I sent one of my private investigator friends to add her, and she does. So my friend adds her. She's stalking her for me for a little bit. We still don't know, you know, who she is or what she does. So my dumbass, I told him, okay, after a few days, I was like, okay, like, if you don't want to be with this girl, then maybe we can move on. Maybe we can, you know, continue with this relationship. Obviously, you have to man up and, you know, be a father to this kid. It's gonna be hard for me, but, you know, I'm here for you type of thing. And honestly, I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know why I decided that that was okay. Anyways, time goes by. I distanced myself from him a little bit, but obviously we're still, you know, trying. I knew that he was going to be obviously more focused on her than me, but I was like, whatever. So I decided to just, you know, keep going with him. Anyways, I want to say a couple weeks pass by and I go out for drinks with my friend. And obviously I was hurt, so I was a little, you know, a little drunk. So after I hung out with my friends, I wanted to keep drinking. So I call up my friend Cynthia, and Cynthia is always down to party, always down for karaoke, always down for anything. But this day, Cynthia said no. So who did I call? My baby daddy. So I call him and I'm like, hey, let's go get drinks, let's go eat tacos, whatever. Like, I wanted to keep drinking. So mind you, we live like 30 minutes away from each other. So I go pick him up. We go to a restaurant. Well, it was like a bar restaurant. We go right away. I sit down. I tell the girl, give me 2 double shots. Mind you, I'm not a shot girly, but that day I said, I need 2 double shots. We drank shots. We had beers. We had, I don't even know what else we had. All I know is I was tipping that girl good. They closed at like 2, but they stayed open because we were spending and I was tipping. So she stayed open a little more. Anyways, I was so messed up that day. Honestly, it was crazy because I was literally hurting for him with him. Like, I was literally, you know, like hanging out with him and everything, but I was hurting for him, you know, while drinking with him. So they had like a little karaoke machine, a little like boom box that you like put money into, you know. So I'm putting songs, I'm like throwing all these indirectas to him, you know, like singing the song, singing parts to him. And I'm just like, you know, obviously I'm in my feelings. So after that, we drive back to his house. I don't even know how. We get back to his house and I was like, damn, like, how am I gonna get home type of thing. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go inside real quick. He goes inside, leaves me in the car, and I was like, well, I'll sleep here, I don't care. So I just lay back on my seat, I'm just chilling. I don't even know, I think he forgot about me because he didn't come back out. So I'm like, whatever. Next thing I see is his grandma comes out and she's like, Métete, go inside. And I'm like, no, like, I'm good, I'll sleep here. She's like, get inside. She's like, go. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, no, you gotta go inside, you can't sleep in here, what if the police come? Blah, blah. And I was like fighting with her, like, are you gonna call the police? Because I don't think they're gonna come. And she's like, just go in there, go in his room. So it's grandma's fault. So anyways, I go into his room, you know, things happen. That was the night I got pregnant. Obviously, we're so drunk, we don't remember everything, whatever. Next morning, I go home and I'm just like, whoa. Anyways, all of this was so hard on me that I was like, you know what? I need a vacation. So I called my mom. I'm like, hey, you know, are you going to Mexico anytime soon? She's like, yeah, I'm actually going. Why? And I'm like, because I need a vacation ASAP. And she's like, oh yeah, come, like, let's go. We'll meet there because we lived in 2 different states. So we met up in Mexico. We had a blast. We were there for like almost a month. It was a great time. Okay, so I come back from Mexico, and I decided while I was in Mexico that I needed to end this relationship, because why was I going through this? For what? So I come back and I'm like, hey, we need to talk. He's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, honestly, I think that we should just move on. You know, I need to just do me. You're about to be a dad. Focus on being a dad, you know, type of thing. He's like, yeah, I agree. Whatever. So we break up. Everything's cool. Yeah, I was a little bit hurt, but I was also relieved. So I go visit a friend. She sees me and she's like, oh, you got this glow going on, girl. What's going on? And I'm like, I mean, I was on vacation. That's normal. She's like, no, you got a different type of glow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you have like a pregnancy glow. Like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm positive. I don't, like, that's the last thing I need right now. She's like, go take a test. Go take it. Pregnant as. I'm like, well, what can I do? Honestly, my friend was so supportive. She was very positive, and her positive energy made me kind of be positive about this. And I was just like, you know, obviously this is not the situation I want to be in, but I was like, you know what, maybe there's a reason, you know, for this. So I was like, we're just gonna take it for what it is and move on. So I text him, I tell him, hey, this, you know, I'm pregnant, whatever. He's like, wow, like I wasn't expecting that, but I'm here for you, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. As time goes by, he had told me that while this girl was pregnant, that she didn't want the baby, that she was not happy about the pregnancy, blah blah blah. I believed him, but then I found out that was a lie. She did want the kid, but she wanted to be with him. So back to my friend stalking her profile. As time goes by, she's stalking his profile, and I don't know what it was, but something caught her attention, and she's like, she sends me a picture that she posted of them together, the girl, his sister. And mind you, I never met this girl, because apparently they didn't grow up together, so whatever. This girl was posting like a whole bunch of stuff about being in love, about their baby coming and all this stuff. So mind you, this girl was married. She had a husband. She had 3 kids already. But I don't know what it was that she liked him, and she wanted him for like her man, like to be her man, I mean. Anyways, so when I'm pregnant, I'm like, what, a month or 2, she was about to have her baby, like in a month or so. So that's when I find out who she really is, and I was like, there's no way. And yes, indeed, it was his half sister. They have the same father. I don't know how that happened, but I also asked, when I found out who she was and that she was married, I asked him, I'm like, are you sure that's your kid? Because if she was married, there's a possibility that that could be her husband's kid. He's like, no, like, this is my kid, blah blah blah. And I was just like thrown off about it. But like, I remember like that time where I was just throwing him all kinds of like comments, and I was just like, you're disgusting, you're this, like, why would you do that? Like, I still don't understand why that was a thing for them. Whatever. So I
I reach out to his mom. I start talking to his mom. She's pissed about this. She's like, I can't believe he's doing this. Like, why would he do this? Like, you know, you guys were good together. Like, I really like you for him. And like, why would he ruin this with her? Like, she's a piece of shit, you know, piece of this, piece of that. Like, I know her mom. Like, they're all like, you know, they're like evil people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, there's nothing I can do about it, you know? So this girl ends up having her baby. He's all happy. He's like texting me, telling me like, oh, like my baby's here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, congratulations. And then it turns out to be that wasn't even his daughter. It was not his daughter. It was the husband's. So anyways, he still gave his last name to the little girl. Well, they had the same last name, so whatever. But he was on her birth certificate as her father. And he ends up moving in with his sister right after they had this little baby. He moved in with her, and I was just like, there's no way. So he moves in with her, he's living with her, they're living together, they're raising this baby together. And honestly, I was just doing my own thing. I was not bothering them. I was just like, wow, I can't believe I'm in this situation. One day he gets drunk and he comes to where I lived. She texts me and she's like, blah, blah, blah is on his way to your house and he's drunk. Please watch out for him. And he loves you, Maria. And I'm like, bitch, what? What do you mean? Like, why are you telling me this? I'm like, why would you say that? And I start like going off on her, like saying stuff to her, and she's like, all right, well then F you. And I start telling her like she's, you know, dirty, she's this, she's that, like why would she date, like why would she be with her sibling? And she's like, well, it's 2020. Well, because at this point it was 2020, or it was about to be 2020, I don't know. And she's like, well, it's 2020, that, like, who cares? Like, people do whatever they want. And like, she was just so, like, I don't know, like, to her, I guess this was normal. But yeah, that's part of what happens. So after she has her baby, a couple months go by. I moved back with my family to Pennsylvania. I moved with my family. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be around this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm leaving. So I moved to PA, and a couple months go by, and why is this pregnant again? And this time it's his kid. I was like, okay, so she didn't, you know, she wasn't satisfied at the fact that that wasn't his kid the first time. So she was like, no, we got to make sure the second one is. So yeah, that second kid is his kid. And that second kid is a couple months apart from my son. This whole situation, it was traumatic. It was different. I mean, I don't know. And they ended up staying together for a couple of years. I don't know what they have going on now. Like, I haven't talked to them or haven't spoken to him. I don't know. I have no idea what they got going on. But they were dating and living together for a couple of years, raising these kids together. My son is 6. He just turned 6, and he doesn't know him. Thank goodness, because I didn't want this around him. He saw him up until he was 1, and it was like every other month, every 2 months, every 3 months, whenever he felt like it. We tried to get along, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't be okay with the fact that this person was gonna be around my kid, or that they were gonna just teach him that this was something normal. I couldn't. So that was why I also decided to move, because I didn't want my son to be around them. I do have full custody of my son, because I was like, we're not doing this. I'm not risking it. Like they say, when someone who is capable of doing this type of thing, this incest thing, they're capable of doing something to their own kids. You know what I mean? Like so yeah, that is what happens. I know this is a long video, but if you guys want to know more, let me know in the comments. I could make more videos. Any questions you have, I'm willing to answer them. This is something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time, because I also feel like talking about it helps me heal from it, because even though it has been 6 years now, it's still trauma in my body. It's still traumatizing. I've been a single mom, and you know, it hasn't been easy, but I always will protect my son. So a part of me being on my own is me protecting him from that. I'm not perfect, but I do the best I can. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.
When people ask me if I like living in San Francisco, my answer is yes, but imagine how amazing it would be if every morning I could open my windows, look outside, and see a big, fat...
Here's the story time that nobody asked for, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I am not typically a vengeful woman. I can let things go and move on. However, when someone comes into mine and my children's lives and ends up being an actual piece of shit human, I feel enraged. I feel like this person needs to be held accountable for their actions. And the fact that David Vaughn has been doing this to women for years and continues to get away with it is truly unreal. David and I met in March. We had texted for a couple weeks before we met in person. I do all of my due diligence when I meet someone new, because I am a single mom. I do have 2 kids. They come first always. I want to protect myself. I want to protect them, obviously. I do the phone check, verification. I make sure that, I check the Maryland case search. It's free. I expect other people to do the same. I'm not hiding anything. I assume that people are also not hiding things, and they're transparent and truthful. Silly me. Anyway, David and I met, and I was completely swept off my feet. He said all the right things. He was sweet. He was attentive. He gave me reassurance when I needed it. I addressed things that were yellow flags, but he always had like a valid reasoning or a valid answer to anything, any concerns that I had. A few months go by. Everything's great. He's met people in my life, friends, some of my family members. I've included him in things because that's what I do with a partner. I want to share these things with them and experience these things with them. And at this point, I had not met anybody in his life. He always came to my house because he had a roommate that could watch his dog, and I live alone and I have 2 dogs. So it was just easier for him to come to me. Also, he claims he lived in Delaware. I don't know that that was actually true. I'm not sure where he lives. His last known address is somewhere in Elkton, Maryland. I can't verify that though. I've never been to his place. So I bring this up to him and he goes, well, the next family function, I will ask if I can get a +1. And I'm like, that's strange. It's not a fucking wedding. Like, can't you just say, hey, I want to bring my girlfriend? But I didn't think anything of it. I just said, whatever, if that's what you're comfortable with, I would like to be included in your life.
We would spend weekends together every other, usually because my kids are home every other weekend. And at that point in our relationship, I was not quite ready to introduce him to my children. I am very cautious with the people that I have around my children. I like to get a good judge of who they are and if this is going to be a relationship that is even worth including my children in. So time goes on. He does eventually meet my children and they love him. They make him bracelets and they play video games together. We do dinners together. Everything was going great. David claims to have frequent family dinners with his one sister. I thought nothing of it. I think that's great. I have a very close relationship with my family. That's something that I value. I never thought anything of it. No issues there. I had never met anybody in his family still at this point. I never actually met any of them. None of them. Flash forward a little bit. I am sitting out with one of my best friends last week and his sister comes up on my People You May Know on Facebook. Now, David claims to not have any social media, which I think, I don't know. I don't actually know anything to be truthful except for what my experience is with him. I did not find him on Facebook. I did not find him on Instagram. He does have an active TikTok account because I would send him videos. His sister comes up on my People You May Know. And I screenshot it and I send him a text and I'm like, oh my God, is this your sister? That's so crazy. She came up on my People You May Know. And he immediately is like, that's not her. That's a scam. She doesn't use social media. That can't be her. That's not an active account. That's fake. So I click on her profile. David lost his father a few years ago, and his father's obituary is on this woman's profile page. The woman that he is claiming is not his sister. It's a scam. It's a fake account. Can't be her. No way in hell. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. So I screenshot the obituary picture and I send it to him. At this point, I think he's freaking out because he tries calling me several times. I was in a bar with one of my friends. It was loud, so I didn't answer. So I texted him and I just said, hey, I'm out. Like, it's loud. I can't talk right now. He texts me back and says, my name is Ralph Georges. I'm going through a divorce. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. And he immediately blocks me. I have no valid answers from this man because that is the last conversation that we had. I don't know if... I do know his name is not Ralph Georges. His name is David Vaughn. That is his actual legal name. So I start doing some digging. I find out through this man's lovely ex-girlfriend, who I have found, we found each other, that not only has he done this to multiple women, he lied about his Irish accent. He told me when we first started dating, he immigrated here from Ireland in 2006. His mother made him take dialect classes so that his speech was more well-spoken and whatever. Who fucking fakes a Irish accent for 4.5 months? Who does that? He apparently has done this in New Jersey for sure, Texas for sure, Maryland for sure, that's where I am, PA potentially Chicago, Tennessee potentially. He has been doing this to women for God knows how long. And for what? Like, what are you gaining from this? He has a work trip coming up, apparently, in September. And I have a feeling that he is about to victimize somebody else. I think that he has already found somebody. I think that he is trying to weasel his way into whoever this person's life is. And he's going to do this again. Like, he's going to do it again. My only hope is that maybe this gets out. Maybe she finds this. Maybe I can save one woman's heart and home and life from this trash human being. I gained nothing from this. I wasted my time on somebody who I thought was genuine and literally had every single person, myself included, fooled. Literally fooled. He is a master manipulator. He knows what he's fucking doing. And I know it will happen again. It's been happening for years. And I just truly hope he gets what is coming to him.
You guys, picture this. I get to my hotel room. I am exhausted from a long day of traveling, right? All I want to do is just lay down and relax. So I do.
And then I look up, and this is what I see.
Okay, I've tried to make this video like 15 times and I just talk too much. My husband and I are having an issue with Airbnb and I want to get opinions on it. I want to know if I'm overreacting. I'm open to that being the case. However, I really do not think that I am overreacting. My husband and I have 2 kids, 2 sons, 8 and 1.5. We just moved from Oregon to Arizona. We got here on June 1st. We are staying in Airbnbs while we buy a house. Our first Airbnb was booked from June 1st until July 6th or 7th. We got to our second Airbnb, the one that we are currently in, on July 7th. And we are staying here until we close on our house. We close in like a week and a half. First Airbnb we stayed in was great, host was great, everything was wonderful, had no problems. The Airbnb that we're in now, we've had one problem after another. Most of them are small things. I have never in my life complained to Airbnb, and most of these things I would not complain about on their own, but I'm just including them to get like a full picture of what we have experienced at this house during our stay. So July 7th, immediately after we booked, the host messaged me and let me know that there was no Wi-Fi in the house and somebody would be coming out the next day, July 8th, to install the Wi-Fi. Not a big deal. I was surprised that she didn't tell me that before because her and I had been messaging back and forth before I booked it. Anyway, July 8th, the guy did come out. He installed the internet. Great. He left and the handyman came out, programmed the garage door, and asked me if there was, how it was going, if there's anything I needed. I told him that the air conditioning wasn't working very well in the master bedroom, and asked if we could just get a fan or something. He told us he didn't have a fan. I said, okay, we'll figure it out, whatever. Not a big deal. And then we also, once we got to the house, figured out, we couldn't figure out how to turn the stove on. So I messaged the host and asked her like why the stove wasn't working. And she let me know that the gas actually was not hooked up to the house and that she had somebody coming out on July 13th to hook up the gas to the house. So we got here on July 7th and we would not have gas until July 13th. So that meant we had no stove, no oven, no hot water, including hot water for the washing machine. I was really frustrated by that. I was also really frustrated how nonchalant she was about it, like it was a big deal. Not a big deal. I was frustrated that she didn't tell me that before we booked. But again, I still didn't complain. I just, you know, it is what it is. I was trying to, like I said, be reasonable. I was trying to give her grace and just, it is what it is. So I go out to the store and I buy a like air fryer oven combo thing. I buy a mixer, a crock pot, a griddle thing, all of that stuff to be able to cook my kids food for the week. And then we just dealt with the cold water. So frustrating, not the end of the world. We dealt with it. The guy did come out on July 13th. He hooked up gas, great. We thought we were done from here. 14th, nothing happened. Go to bed that night, wake up on July 15th at 6 a.m. and the AC is not working. So that was super cool. We're in Arizona, it's the middle of summer, it's hot. It was 77 degrees in here at 6 a.m. and it just like continued to go up from there. By 10 a.m. I think it was like 84 degrees, and then by 1 p.m. it was 87 degrees, and it stayed right around like between 86 and 88 for the remainder of the time that the AC was out. I messaged the host. She did have a AC guy come out that day. He got there around 3:34 p.m. Figured out the problem was that he could come back first thing in the morning to fix it. I said great, he left. I then messaged the host and asked if she could get us a portable AC for the night, said that we would have our kids sleep in the master bedroom with us, so that we could get through the night, because we weren't going to sleep in 87 degrees. So she did get us a portable AC. She got it delivered. We got it around 8 p.m. installed it. Because the house was so hot, it was not cooling down very quickly. My husband goes to bed really early because he gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning for work. Him and my kids were struggling to fall asleep because it wasn't getting cool fast enough. So we got up, went to the store, got 3 fans to help circulate the air, cool it down faster, whatever. So we get through the night, get up in the morning. I'm thinking first thing in the morning it's gonna be fixed. I'm great, cool. Then the host messages me and tells me that the handyman is coming out to get the part number, whatever. I still like didn't really fully put it together that the HVAC tech was not coming. Handyman gets here around, I want to say 1 p.m. and he told me they were trying to go through their warranty, probably wasn't gonna be fixed today. I said, cool. He leaves, comes back again a little bit later. Not a big deal, but something frustrating. He had to get up in the attic and he dropped insulation all over the floor and just left it. It was all over the laundry room, and like not something I'd complained about on its own, but like frustrating. So up to this point, I still had not complained to Airbnb. I didn't complain about the gas or anything else that had happened. Once the handyman told me that the AC was not going to be fixed until the following day, at that point I did reach out to Airbnb and asked to get a refund for our remaining night so that we could move to a different Airbnb because we were all miserable and I didn't want to go through that anymore.
As soon as I reached out to Airbnb, the host did immediately message me and tell me that there was a tech coming out, he'd be there at 5:30. I said, great. We had to go to an event for my son's school and we had to be there at 6 p.m. We ended up waiting until about 5:55 to leave. Tech still was not here. I was frustrated again, but we left and he did end up coming while we were gone. We got home around 8 p.m. on the 16th and the AC was fixed at that point.
Okay, I really don't remember if I said this already, but the house is also like not stocked. There's not a lot of stuff in here. There's barely anything in the kitchen. That's why I had to buy all that stuff. Like there's nothing in here. There's like 2 pots, a pan, there's like a couple plates, there's no bowls, spatulas, measuring cups. Like, I mean, again, like not a huge deal, but it's just very bare. There's no shower curtain in the bathroom. The shower is just open. There's like 2 towels, no washcloths, no kitchen towels, no broom, dustpan, mop, nothing like that. Again, I did not complain about that. I just went out and got our own stuff. It was a little bit frustrating, but like not anything worth complaining about at the time. So I was contacted by Airbnb. They asked me if I wanted them to work out some sort of compensation or if I wanted to work directly with the host. I told them that I would like to work directly with the host. I was still, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, thought we could work something out, whatever. So then yesterday on July 20th, the host and I hadn't really communicated much. I wasn't too worried about it. I was like, it'll get figured out when it gets figured out. So again, yesterday on July 20th, my case manager calls me from Airbnb at 4 p.m. and he asked if we figured it out. I said no. He said, okay, if you guys don't get it figured out by tomorrow, then Airbnb will step in and we'll handle it. I said, cool. At this point, the host and I are messaging about the portable AC. She asked if she could come pick it up. I wanted to keep it for the bedroom because, like I said, the first night it was hot in there. So I was asking her if we could keep it for that. She just responded and said, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I was like, okay. Frustrating. And then randomly in the middle of that conversation, she sends me some weird message like, I can't talk to you about financial compensation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we're not talking about that. Like, what does this mean? So then I go look and Airbnb support had sent me a message letting me know that they had resolved my case and everything was wonderful, closed, done deal. And they had refunded me a whopping $124. So I was really not happy with that. We paid $3,000 for this Airbnb for 28 nights. Okay, so I'm really frustrated about that, not getting anywhere with the host or Airbnb. I'm not sure what changed between 4 p.m. when my case manager called me and 6 p.m. To end up with this $124 resolution. Was not happy with it. Decided to go to bed, wake up in the middle of the night at like 1 a.m. The AC is not working again, so I send a message and a picture to the host of the thermostat showing her that the AC is once again not working. At 6 a.m. I get a message from her asking when a good time to have a tech come back out is, and then at 8 a.m. she had unsent the message and I got a message from Airbnb saying, hey, you're gonna need to find another Airbnb. Your host let us know that the AC is not able to be fixed. Which I do understand her wanting us out because, like, yes, there's been lots of problems, but like the only thing that I've complained even to her about is the air conditioning. I didn't even complain to her about the gas. And I don't know, I just think $124 is crazy. I mean, like, especially with all the money that we spent and like everything that has happened, and then nobody has responded to me all day. Thankfully, my husband was able to fix the AC, but nobody will respond to me now. Okay, I have an update. Airbnb is wonderful. They just called me. It's 11:45 p.m. at night, and they let me know that they have a great solution for me. They asked me if I would want to, right now, get my 2 kids up and my husband, who has to be up at 3 a.m. for work, and go to a hotel over 30 minutes away from where we are. They were shocked that I didn't want to do that right now. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this quick, but I want to clarify a few things, and I have a little bit of an update from today. So initially, when I was talking to the host about like reimbursement, I had asked her for $1,000, and I got that number because I did all of the affected nights, and I did 75% of the rate for those nights. plus an additional $200 for reimbursements, which I spent way more than that, but I was asking for $200 for all the stuff I had to buy for cooking and whatever. So that got me a total of $1,000. That's what I asked her for. I also told her like that same breakdown of why I was asking for that. She told me she would talk to her partner and get back to me. She didn't ever get back to me until in the middle of our conversation about her wanting to come pick up the portable AC. She let me know she could no longer talk to me about financial compensation, whatever. Okay, so that's when I saw the Airbnb had messaged me saying that they had refunded me $124. I told them that was unacceptable. They told me that that's the most that they can do. Okay, so the night before last night, in the middle of the night, the AC went out again. I took a picture, sent it to the host in the middle of the night. She responded at 6 o'clock in the morning asking me when somebody could come out to take a look at it. Then she unsent the message, and I got a message from Airbnb at 8 a.m. Saying that the host had told them the air conditioning was not repairable, and that I would need to find somewhere else to stay. So I started, I was happy with that at this point. I wanted to leave, and I was hoping to leave. So I started asking Airbnb like how it was gonna work, if they were gonna book a new place for me, and use like the money that they were going to refund me for my unused nights, like if I could use that towards it, how that was gonna work. They just stopped responding to me, and I didn't hear from them again until like 10 p.m. last night. So at that point I had already made my TikTok, and somebody called me and they told me that I would need to book a new Airbnb or somewhere else to stay out of my own pocket and pay for it. They were not going to pay for it, discount it, anything like that. I needed to book and pay for a new Airbnb. Once I do that and they have confirmation that I have done that, then they will refund me for my unused nights. And they said that I should get that within 15 business days. I told them I'm closing on a house in a week and a half, and that I don't have the money to book another place, nor do I think I should do that a week before I close on a house. I just don't think that that's acceptable. They aren't even willing to use, I was willing to pay for it, I'm not trying to get it for free, but they won't even use the money that they're refunding me for the unused nights towards a different place for us to stay. Okay, so after that, the person told me that they would talk to their team and get back to me. They called me a little bit later telling me that they could offer me a hotel for the night. It was now 11 p.m. at that point, and I told them, I had already told them that I had 2 kids and that they were sleeping, but I told them again, I can't move tonight, and I also am not, the hotel that they were offering us for the night was 30 minutes away. That would put my husband an hour away from work, and again, it was 11 p.m. I'm not going to wake my kids up or my husband, who has to be up for work at 3, to go move to a hotel 30 minutes away. I thought that was insane. So today I messaged the host about my mail again. I had messaged her about it a couple days ago. She said she would get it for me. Now she's saying that she doesn't have my mail. And also she told me she's not willing to refund me $1. I want to make that clear. She is not interested in even talking about it. She won't even respond to any conversation about a refund. She also told me that she thinks that I am lying about not having hot water, which I don't really understand, because she acknowledges that the gas was not hooked up to the entire house, and I would assume she knows that her water heater is gas, and I told her that, but she is accusing me of lying about not having hot water, and her reasoning is because I didn't ask for a refund before, so me being nice, giving her the benefit of the doubt, is just biting me in the ass. Okay, so she also thinks, she told me that she thinks that I'm just trying to get a free place to stay because we have not left yet. And I told her the same thing I already said about, like, the Airbnb expects us to pay for it and then just wait for a refund in 15 business days. So I told her that. She didn't respond to it. Now the Airbnb, they
closed my chat so that I couldn't respond. I've started a new chat and it says somebody should contact me in an hour. But yeah, nobody wants to talk to me about it. Like, everybody thinks that I'm being unreasonable. So yesterday they had told me my credit for the unused nights would be $1,243 and some change. Today they told me that it would be $1,100 and something dollars. I asked why that had changed, and they told me that it was because, like, yesterday's amount was for if we left yesterday, today's amount was for if we left today. However, that's not true, because yesterday's amount they told me was for if we left today. So the things that they're saying don't add up either. They're just saying things, and everything they've told me is the maximum amount they can offer me, and there's nobody else I can talk to. So at this point they are offering, if I leave today, $1,100 for my unused nights. I have this Airbnb until August 6th, I believe, that I will get within 15 business days. And they are offering me $344 as a refund for my affected nights. Okay, I want to clarify too that so initially I asked the host for $1,000, and then Airbnb messaged me and said that $1,000 wasn't gonna happen, basically. So the whole time that's what I've been asking for. At this point today, I messaged them and asked them for a full refund, and if they give me a full refund, I will leave today and find somewhere else. I don't expect them to find me somewhere to stay for the rest of my nights and give me a full refund. But yeah, at this point, like, it has been so ridiculous. I want a full refund, and I'll figure out where I'm gonna stay until we close on our house and never use Airbnb again in my life. This has been horrendous, and this is how we have spent the last 2 weeks of my son's summer vacation. So I just want a refund and to be done with them.